All right, all right, all right. The honor of the great Matthew McConaughey, his first three words on the big screen from Dazed and Confused. We have the Nasdaq here. I'm in good mood today. Obviously, the market's doing well. I just wanted to point out a couple of things here, not to be a Debbie Downer, but it is bumping up against its upper channel line here once again. So the last time it did that, it pulled back to the 21 and people were like, oh my God, the market's going to crash. No, it's just a pullback. We know how strong the market is now. I mean, here at MC Stock Charts, we've been pressed on the gas since May 10th. But there's still a lot of people who are bearish and think this is a bear market rally, and you don't want to get caught up in any of this compartmentalizing, or trying to just categorize the market. We're in an uptrend. Ride it, like the Grateful Dead saying, I hope you enjoy the ride. So it's just riding along its moving averages. And I hope that most of you are in these leading stocks that I've been posting, and all you have to do is hold them here now. There's not a lot to do. If you're not in, then you have to try to get in. And so then you'd wait for something like, we just had last week or 2 weeks ago where maybe this thing will, pull back to these rising moving averages. But today it closed for the first time above 14,000. You can see 14,138. And it's been since April 5, 2022, when it gapped down on, let me get to April 5. Where's April? Come on, Marty. April. Boom. There it is. The gap down. April 5. It closed at 14,204. The next day it gaps lower and closes at 13,800. So yeah, it's been 14 months since 15 months since the Nasdaq's closed above 14,000. So, we're just going to enjoy the ride here. Higher highs, higher lows. And I've got to go back to the weekly because I pointed this out earlier. I believe that the next level here is 14,646. So it needs to take that one out. So we'll see. That's what I'm watching for. But you can see this nice trend here. A lot of big blue volume bars, higher highs, higher lows, just trending higher. So like I said, there's nothing to do if you're, I know a lot of people contact me on Twitter and tell me that they're fully invested. That's great. But if you're not, you need to find a way to get into this uptrend here. This is a real special time with the this power trend here, and it's been lasting for quite some time. So we need to take advantage of that. I just wanted to talk about some of our leading stocks at NC Stock Charts and some of my stocks on the watch list that have just been performing really well. I do want to talk a little bit about the Bitcoin stocks too, and the cybersecurity, but I have to talk about this. This is one of these model book stocks that's going to be talked about, I believe, for years and years, because this made this high tide flag. This is SMCI on the weekly chart, and you can see this high tide flag pattern here forming. I've been talking about this, and today it broke out above the flag, okay? And so obviously, I think it's going to trade higher. My next point of interest here is how is it going to handle that 300 level, especially with the Nasdaq, near its upper channel range. So I believe the 300 will give it some resistance, but it could hit here, and it could do a couple things. It could be rejected and trade back, fall back, or it could just trade sideways here at 300, or it might just blast through and trade much higher. This is a really strong stock. I would not, nothing would surprise me, put it that way. But it's one that it's my largest holding. It's one that, I talked about how it did well in 2022 when the market was floundering around. I bought it at 50, it pulled back, bought it at 70, and it pulled back, and I sold both times. And when I bought it at 90 the last time, I said, I'm not going to sell it, even if it pulls back below the 50. And it did, of course, tried to shake me out. And that's what it does. So, so if you don't own this and you want to get in it, you see that it does this from time to time. Just did this one, a big one recently, pull back to the 21. So there are these occasions, and that's what I would wait for. I wouldn't chase it up here. It's been on our watch list. I had the last, the downtrend line here. when it broke above the downtrend line and went higher, I think the buy point was like 250, and then right here 270.18, and right now it's what, $25 above that. So it's just a really strong, it's a monster stock. I believe it's an auto book stock, and one that is going to be written about when all is said and done. It's got the super microcomputer component, so it's just a beast. And NVIDIA's another one. We had 10 of our 20 leading stocks at MC Stock Charts that made new highs today, and NVIDIA was another one. This one, I got to go to the weekly here because it's been giving us chances to get in. Even after these big moves, it had this 3 weeks tight area where we had a buy point at 390, and then it ran up to 440, then pulled back and had a 4 weeks tight area with a buy point at 425. And now you can see after hours, it's at 460. So, it's not going to continue to give you buy points like that, but if you're not in, you're just going to have to wait now because it's really blasted off here. This thing, last night it was trading at 440 after hours. Now it's at 460. So it's moving fast, really strong stock. So congrats to the longs there. Celsius, I need to talk about Celsius. This one pulled back today, made a new high. It was one of our 10 stocks that made new highs today, but then it pulled back. I thought it was really going to take off. It looked like it was going to move, and then it pulled back and it was down for the session. But there was some confusion with the Celsius digital currency CEO who was arrested. And it wasn't the Celsius beverage non-alcoholic CCO. I forget his name, John Fildy or something. Yeah. So anyway, there was some confusion. But this thing's just trading sideways, trading really nice. It was near, like you could see on the weekly there. Yeah, no, real tight trading here. So it's doing nothing wrong, even though it's down today. It's up nearly 2% this week. Definitely underperforming the Nasdaq, but you could see how it pulled back here to its 10-week line there earlier in the week. It's doing nothing wrong, made a new high and pulled back today. I call that foreshadowing, which I talked about with SMCI, and it's certainly proven to be true with SMCI. It'll probably be true with this one as well. Elf Beauty, this one has not had, I got to go to the weekly, this one has not had a base since last summer. And it just broke out, and it's just been riding its moving averages like, just like a surfer. Who was that guy, Slater, the great surfer? Laird Hamilton. I mean, this thing is just surfing, hanging 10, and it pulled back to its 51 time. I mean, this year, I believe. No, at the beginning of the year, it had that sell-off, the profit-taking sell-off. That's right. And then it's been up ever since, pulled back one time right before earnings, gapped higher after that. So there's nothing to do here again with ELF except for the hold. I mean, it's just riding its MAs to higher prices. That's all you can say. And sometimes that's the hardest thing to do, is just hold on to a stock, because we want to tinker around all the time. Just leave them alone, take a walk, take a hike, walk your dog, go golfing, go fishing, leave your screens alone, because you just got to let them work sometimes. Builder First Source, this is another one. I had it on my list, thought it was a new high, but it wasn't. The high was 140.23. Yeah, 140.70. It was in pennies within a new high. But the home builder stocks are doing well. I'm not going to go through all of them. There are many making new highs. You can see it's 142 after hours. So maybe we have another strong day tomorrow and have some more new highs. Meta is another one. This thing, I made a joke that, we should make a thread about this stock. And people are saying you're very corny, old dad jokes. But anyway, if you own this one, congrats. You can see this one is kind of like ELF, where it just broke out of a base here and it's just riding its moving average. This one's surfing too. Nothing to do here, folks. Don't tinker too much, get away from, let them work, let your dollars work for you. That's what I do. This is Delta Airlines reported earnings, made a new high, then pulled back to the 10. And a lot of the airline stocks did this today. Ran up, then pulled back to the 10. So doing nothing wrong. Hubs is another one. This has been on our watch list. This is also a leading stock. I had this, the shelf here, 535.12, and it's long gone from that. So congrats to the longs there. It needs to form. This is just like a shelf here. not, it's like an add-on buy point. It's not a real, you know, I guess it's a flat base pattern there, but trading higher. Anyway, Hubs, another one of our leading stocks, making new highs. Spotify is another one. This one is just kind of quietly, you know, trading along its moving average. I don't hear many people talking about this stock, but it's making new highs and it's doing nothing wrong. It's in one of the top performing groups this year. So once again, nothing left to do for me but just watch it grow. I mean, this is DR Horton, another one of these home builder stocks making new highs. So anyway, I wanted to get to some of our watch list stuff. I'm not going to go through SMCI and NVDA and Hubs because I already did that. But some of our watch list stuff, and I'm so many of them are trading higher that I'm running out of stocks to put on the watch list. And this is Flowserve, FLS, another one that's just kind of a quiet stock, just kind of walking away from its pivot area. Just a slower mover, doing nothing wrong. And if you own it, you know, it's been good to you, and it's going to have to be taken off our watch list, as well as Frog, which is just getting a little extended here. It's been on our watch list for a week or two, and it's just starting to break away. You can see that, and you see this a lot here with these stocks. Right now, this one's 6.6 above its 10 EMA, but they do this, you know, in the handle, they get shakeouts, vicious shakeouts down to moving averages, and just pop. So that's what you look for: a run up, then a pullback, and then the pop. You know, it's very common, and that's what I'm looking for with. Anyway, I'll get to it later. Okay, some other ones. Microchip. I wanted to talk about this one because it has micro in its name. MCHP. This one has been on our watch list, and any stock with a micro in the name, people are telling me those are winners, like Supermicro and Microsoft and MicroStrategy. They're all doing well, but this one's just pushing away from its base here. And you can see, let's take a look at the weekly, because that one's, yeah, it's still, you can see here the handle here, this nice pullback, and then the move higher on the weekly. But for me on the daily, it's just getting a little extended. So congrats to the longs if you bought that one. That one's been on our watch list for a little bit. ONON, the shoe company. This one's pushing away from its base a little bit here. I will still leave this one on our watch list because it hasn't made its big move. Today it did have some nice volume though. So I like the action in that one. And since I'm on the shoe bit, I'm going to go to Crocs because this one was on our watch list too. I had a buy point here at 122.82. And so this is what I'm talking about here with the okay, it ran up from 104 to 129 or whatever. So there's your run up. So now you're looking for the pullback here to the moving average. You know, look for a sharp pullback here, maybe back to that 120 area, and we can get a nice pop out of Crocs. You know, if Deckers is making new highs and ONON, the Crocs has got to be selling shoes too, and I believe that they're going to have good earnings and they're going to be rewarded eventually. Anyway, that's my Crocs spiel for today. I want to go back to our watch list, which Crocs is on our watch list, ONON, and so is Airbnb. But I had an early buy point on this one at 128.96 because it you know, is trading kind of tight and pulling back to these moving averages here, but it's kind of run up to 140, so it's like 12 bucks above our pivot. But in actuality, the standard buy point is 144, and I really don't like that buy point because you can see the spike here. You know, it's just this one spike, and then it kind of consolidated 144.63 back on February 17th. So that's why I wanted to get in early. If you got in early, great. You know, you got cushion. But yeah, the standard buy point would be 144.63. So if you have a cushion, good for you. I did mention that the airline stocks just pulled back to their 10. These ones are on our watch list and just a little bit extended. UAL, yeah, they pulled back to the 10 today. That one still could be on our watch list. United, but they're reporting earnings next Wednesday. You got to be mindful of when your stocks are reporting earnings. Datadog, this one's been on our watch list. I had it many times. I think it had the 90 buy point here, just kind of like Airbnb, you know, the early buy point with the pullback to moving averages. And then we had one at 97 in here as it pulled back. And then now the standard is 103.80. And I have to take a look at the weekly. Oh, yeah, this has got a beautiful cup with a handle pattern. So Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised to see that one trade a little bit higher and break out. I don't think it's broken out yet by this. Yeah, 120 is definitely doable here with Datadog. So yeah, another 10% move would not surprise me. MRVL has been on our watch list. Yeah, a lot of these watch list stocks have been cranking, and we love it. We had a buy point here at $60 for obvious reasons. Here is this little wedge pattern, coincides with the moving average, and then it pulled back and then popped. Like I said, we've been seeing this a lot. That's why I say embrace the pullbacks. If the Nasdaq pulls back and some of these stocks pull back, embrace it. Don't be afraid. Another one, pull back to the moving average and then popped higher, DT. So that one's long gone. Anyway, that's it for today. No, I promised you I was going to go through these Palo Alto networks. Some people were, a little afraid with the Microsoft news. They expanded their cybersecurity. It's not really going to affect these companies. For me, the trade for Palo Alto was 190 to 250. And then, he had a big pullback, but nothing to be afraid of. And today it was back up 2.74%. Same with Zscaler. It just kind of pulled back to its buy area there at 145. I had the buy at 143. So I had an inside day today, just like Palo Alto. And CrowdStrike. These things bounce nicely. Crowd was not nearly affected, but they all had inside days, and Crowd's trading tight. So I kind of like that one as well. Like I said, that'll do it for today, but I lied because in honor of Steve Jobs, one more thing. The cryptocurrency stocks are doing really well. I'm going to start with coin. Now, the US dollar is weakening, and that's great for the multinational companies because of the currency exchange. And if your stock that you own, the business is doing a lot of business overseas, that's going to really help them and might help with their forward guidance as the dollar weakens. But you can see Coinbase, clear, clean breakout from a consolidation here today. Nice move. I don't traffic in these stocks, but if you do, congrats. A nice 24% move. Mara is another one that just broke out of a base, and you can see that recently, and is just trading higher, way extended. RIOT, another one. If you like these stocks, you can't complain with these big volume moves. RIOT now over $20, and HUT is another one. That's just, they all look the same, don't they? I mean, they're just powering higher, up 19% today, up 17% in the week, but yeah, they all look really strong. So like I said, I don't really traffic in those, but if you do have stocks that are multinational stocks that are doing a lot of business overseas, you might have some tailwinds here as they report earnings this quarter. And, a lot of those giant technology stocks do a lot of business overseas. So I think it'll be a tailwind for earnings. And I think the analysts are too negative. They're too bearish. Their estimates are too low, and they're going to be shocked at earnings. And that's my story. I'm sticking to it, and we never give up.